Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Mattel DC Total Heroes Green Lantern Corps. That's right, the DC Total Heroes is a new line of figures that are starting to hit retail stores now. But this brand new Total Heroes Ultra figure is exclusive to MattyCollector.com and is going to allow you to create some of the different Green Lantern Corps members. So as you can see, it comes in blister card packaging, fully showcasing the figure within, as well as all the cool little interchangeable parts and accessories that the figure includes. The back of the packaging gives you a description on the Green Lantern Corps and shows you the 3 characters you'll be able to create with this set, those being John Stuart, Tomar Ray, and Green Man. Opening up the figure from the packaging, you can see all of the cool accessories that he comes with. There's 1 figure, 3 heads, 3 sets of interchangeable hands, and some cool construct pieces to attach to the Green Lantern ring. So let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the overall figure itself. Now, these are done slightly different than the DC Universe Classics line. These figures are much more stylized, having a more cartoony look and kind of having a bit of a chunky build to them. But the sculpts are really good. Taking a look at that John Stewart head, it's pretty awesome. He's very happy though. He's got a nice smile on his face and of course some bright green eyes there. And then the costume is very nicely painted. It's a very bright green paint job that's got a bit of a metallic flake to it, and the nice blacks and even the whites on his hands is a bit pearlized, so there's a nice overall shine to the figure there. The articulation on these guys is actually pretty good as well. It's not quite on par with what we were seeing with DC Universe Classics, but you should still be able to get some pretty good poses out of them. The head's on a nice ball joint so it can move left and right, rock all the way up and down. You got great ball joints at the shoulders for good forwards, backwards, up and down movements. You got swivels above the elbow, standard elbow joint, and swivels at the wrist. You got a nice waist swivel there. There's nothing in the torso, but then you do have nice hinge joints at the thighs so they can split outwards, go forwards and backwards. You got joints at the knees, and then a standard joint at the ankle. So, like I said, not as articulated as what we were seeing with DC Universe Classics, but still pretty well done. Alright, so that's going to bring us to the cool interchangeable part of these figures. The thing is that you can create all these different lanterns, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the interchangeable hands. First of all, the figure comes with the 2 closed fist hands, and you'll notice on the right, there is a large Green Lantern ring. The hands are on easy joints to pull apart, so you can just pop out those hands, and in the places you can pop in the new hands. The joints are very easy to interchange, but they do hold nice and tight, so they shouldn't be too loose or fall out on their own or anything like that. Aside from the 2 fists, you also get 2 gripping hands and 2 flat hands. So this gives you a couple different ways you can display your figure, and you can even, of course, mix and match those hands for the desired pose for your character. Now the head works the same way. It's just on a ball joint and you can pop it off, very similar to what we've seen with a lot of other Mattel figures like Masters of the Universe Classics. It's easily removable there. It is a smaller ball joint, so obviously you wouldn't be able to mix this with something like Masters Classics, but it does work nicely here and you can pop on the new heads, very nice and snug, they hold in place good, and that way with the set you can create 3 different lanterns. You've got John Stewart, you've got Tomar Ray, and you've got Green Man. Now, in addition to the interchangeable heads, you will also get this cool little construct accessory. First of all, you just have this large green blast. It's made of like a translucent plastic, but it's nice and solid. And then included are 3 attachments that can plug onto the end of it, so that way your Green Lantern can use whatever weapon he wants to use. You've got this large fist, you've got this weird little claw thing, and then you've got the little buzzsaw. Now all those clip into the front of the blast very easy, and it works just like the head and everything, so it's real easy to kind of pop off and put the new one in its place. The blast itself plugs right onto the fist hand, and it almost goes up his arm a little ways there. But here's the tricky thing about this. It's way too heavy for the figure. There's no way you're going to be able to attach this construct to his arm and actually stand this figure up. I had a hard time getting him to stand just to take pictures of these different constructs so that you can see what they look like. Once you put this thing on, the figure just collapses. So it's going to be fun for kids to play with. It is not going to be fun for trying to display on your shelf. So there you go, guys. There's a look at the brand new Total Heroes Ultra Green Lantern Corps. The Total Heroes line is pretty neat. It's a little different than the DC Universe Classics line, but I still think it's a fun line of action figures, and I definitely think it's got high appeal for kids. Will it have the same appeal for collectors? I think that's still to be seen, but I definitely think there is some appeal to them, and I've definitely seen some collectors enjoying them. Overall, I think this is a very nicely made action figure. All of the accessories are very cool and they work really nicely, with the exception of the fact that that construct is a little too heavy to actually pose with the figure. But I like all the poppable parts that you can interchange there, and it's neat that you can create all three of these different lanterns, but I guess the only downside is that you can't have them all on your shelf at the same time unless you bought 3 of these sets and then just made all 3 of these figures to put on your shelf. So that's definitely a huge downside for anybody that's wanting to display an entire Total Heroes version of the Green Lantern Corps. So the Total Heroes Ultra Green Lantern Corps goes on sale on MattyCollector.com on March 17th, 2014. Until next time,